see early on, do you know anything about the routes these two racers are going to take as they get started?
Well, I can't say I know much what their preferences are, but my suggestions are definitely got to check the early shops, the shop by start, and then it's just whether you decide to go to 3 first or 1 first. And looks like we got 3 first for Mr. Cab and a shop check perhaps from Jay.
Yeah, definitely a route divergence here early on. Jaylow picking up some free rupees from the vanilla secret north of Star. He looks like he's headed towards level 1, or at least level 1's vanilla location, I should say. And Mr. Cab goes to vanilla 3, where he's going to find area 6.
Filled with super ropes, blue Lionels, red Lionels, super skeletons. I don't want to be here if I'm you.
Yeah, this room doesn't seem too friendly. Cab, of course, no slouch to the Zelda randomizer. Both these runners, longtime veterans. They've both been around a while. Unfortunately, Jaylow takes a nanner to the side of the head and is going to have to go back to start. But yeah, both these runners, longtime runners of the randomizer. Believe it or not, though, have only faced off once so far in the qualifiers. Cab was able to come out with the advantage in that one showdown.
We do have a staircase, and it actually is the item. Got a heart container. Something I do want to say, though, Jaylow, check in the shop, see the blue ring, see some bait, and I actually think that there were a whole bunch of blue whiz robes on the overworld.
Yeah, our overworld full of a lot of fun stuff. Cab, speaking of fun stuff, finds a Dig Dogger. Dig Dogger, of course, dislikes loud noises, but unless Cab can scream really loud, he's going to have to up A, and he's going to try another route.
Something that should be pointed out, however, is our players got one saving grace. Red Gorillas seem to be pretty close to start, and they've got 1 HP, so should be really easy picking.
Squishy gorillas are always nice, and hopefully that's one of the few things that can happen in these races early on. A lot of times you end up with seeds where you're in bomb trouble or in key trouble. And so far, at least on the bomb side, these runners seem to have no issues there.
And seems I need to correct myself a little. I saw that room of 8 blue gorillas and thought it was 8 blue wizrobes, but not the case. But speaking of 8, we do have level 8 at the vanilla level 1 spot. Mr. Cab, see, it's the same enemy set as in level 6, so we got those 4 HP Stalfos, and who knows how much HP these blue Lionels have. Gotta be careful.
Yeah, blue Lionels do 2 full hearts of damage, 8 HP damage, with every time that their sword beams hit, well, in this case, Princess Zelda. So Cab, of course, being very deft, getting around there, and now Jaylow deals with his own blue Lionels as well. We've already seen this area. He's going to get a heart container for his troubles, unless he can find another path.
Yeah, Mr. Cab did not actually have bombs, so Jaylow might be able to find a bomb hole somewhere. Maybe not. We do see Patra and a whole bunch of ladder blocks in 8. Nothing super hard blocked yet, but you definitely want the ladder to get around.
Yeah, this is kind of a good situation for Cab in level 8, because not only is he going to be able to refill his bombs now, but these guys will respawn. So as long as he's got enough bombs to smoke these Dodongos, he can return to this room later on and refill his bombs. So we could see some good exploration here. We'll have to wait and see what he chooses to do with this power. Jaylow, meanwhile, decides he's also going to be done with 6 for now. He's going to go to a different area than Cab's at now, so we've got another route divergence, Cabin.
Looks like he's gonna be heading to Vanilla 6, and then perhaps the Armos item. Perhaps he did take that death in the overworld trying to head to Vanilla 1, so perhaps he's trying to go another way.
Now,
Also,
of course, I mean... Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Also, did you see what enemy was on that screen? It was a red wizrobe.
Interesting.
So we do have wizrobes on the overworld.
That's usually a welcome sight, just simply because there's not a lot of forced combat in the overworld. I mean, if you're capable of screen scrolls, ooh, unfortunately Jaylow takes a overworld death there. if you're capable of screen scrolling and you know how to get around the overworld, you can avoid a lot of this damage. So it makes for easier times in the dungeons where you actually do have to fight, because you'll have usually easier enemy sets. Although with mixed HP, that's not always the case.
You do have to watch out for those choke points. For instance, south of level 6, east of level 5, because if those are filled with enemies, then you could have some trouble.
MrCab doing the crazy thing, I like it. Going after this Patra being a little stubborn, but Cap doing a really good job trying to take him out, and Jaylow's back into 8 now. Now with bombs in possession, we may see him go after this Patra as well. One thing we do want to mention to folks, so this is the first round of this tournament. This is a best of 3. This flag set does have a few things that are vanilla, including but not limited to all the dungeons being in their vanilla locations, but they've been shuffled around, among other things as well, Captain.
Yeah, we have enemy HP shuffle, I believe, and quite a lot of good twists. I will say that we saw the heart container on the floor in level 8 as MrCab finds a staircase. Doesn't seem to be taking him where he wants to go. Something I will comment on is the fact that both the runners are digging level 8 this early on. Especially with an early level 6 find, I'd honestly just see the enemies, see the Patra, and nope right on out of there. Head to Vanilla 6, get that white sword item, head to Vanilla 5. The last thing you want to do early on, when you have nothing, is dig the biggest dungeons.
Jaylow finally cleared that room with Salphos, and the turret caught him at the last second, takes another death. And now MrCab down to a half a heart, needs to be careful here. And Jaylow, taking your advice, he's out. I mean, it really comes down to the whole essence of Randomizer, Kevin. It's kind of one of those things where you have to weigh the gamble. You know, in this case, you've got 3 items in 8. We obviously have already seen one of them. Ooh, Cap finally does meet his end.
True, and...
But basically what I was getting at is just, when do you take that gamble? And there's no real right answer. I mean, it's kind of just you feel it out. When you feel like this is the place you want to check, sometimes that can lead to disappointment, and other times it can be the difference in a race.
Yeah, and probably the biggest factor is honestly just what enemies are in the dungeon. Like, we see that Patra, we see those Lionels. Personally, this early on, that would be enough for me to nope right out, just because you have Wood Sword, 3 hearts, or 4 or 5, depending on how it goes. Things could go south badly, especially with how much extra HP the enemies got.
Alright, so we're finally going to get to see some of these overworld locations that we've typically see early on. Jaylow's going to check the white sword item here. With 5 hearts, he has a chance to get yet another heart, and he does. So that's not really going to help him out too much. But now MrCab in the Vanilla Armos area, we still have yet to see this. And for his troubles, he gets nothing. A staircase. Let's see. Okay, looks like our item is going to be at the Vanilla Blue Ring location.
Now, something I actually found more interesting are while we're in those shops. We saw the candle, and we saw 3 rupee bombs. So that would be the ring shop. So that is the only shop in Hyrule that is going to be selling a blue candle.
Interesting. We'll have to wait and see if they decide to go back for that. There's other ways to get into level 8. Again, remember, with the dungeons being in the locations of the vanilla dungeons, we know we need the raft to access where level 4 is. We need the recorder to access where level 7 is. So both these items are required, but we also need a candle or the wand paired with the book and an enemy set that allows you to burn the bush using that item. It's kind of tricky, but in a pinch, that can help you get through as well.
It might not be possible this time, though, as we do see Wizards on the overworld, and I believe Wizards are one of the enemies that block that.
Correct. I've actually had that happen to me, unfortunately. So it is one of those things. Do you kind of gamble on that, or do you look for that candle? With this flag set, there are no extra candles, so they will either have to purchase a blue candle from that one shop, or they're going to have to find the red candle.
Well, I will comment on what MrCab is doing right now. He's digging level 2 at vanilla level 6. Level 2, one of the best dungeons to dig. 2 items on the floor, really small, so you can top up on your keys. And if there's bomb holes, you can just kind of blast on.
And speaking of level 2, Jaylow7 now headed to vanilla 2, and we have yet to see what this is. So for his journey, he gets to explore level 5.
And level 5 was sorry, level 5 was actually level 9, I believe.
So we've yet to see level 1, and I believe we haven't seen, was it 3 or was it 7?
We have yet to see dungeons 1, 3, 4, and 7.
Okay, so at least we know 3 of those dungeons are going to be blocked by those items that we aforementioned. We'll have to wait and see which ones are which. Of course, in these dungeons, there are all of the vanilla items that you see in the regular game shuffled around. Besides the ones that we know we need to access dungeons, we also need to find the silver arrows, the bow, and potentially other items, including the ladder that could impede our progress. And we've yet to find any of those items so far, Gavin.
But one item we have found is a map. So we got shapes turned on, and you can look at the map, know what shape your dungeon is, and name that ink block.
I think it looks kind of like an unknown from Pokemon.
My thoughts were like an upside down 6 or a sideways, like up backwards 9. I'd rate a.
Sorry, I was just saying it's fun to see what kind of shapes shapes gets. Sometimes it's crazy stuff like that.
Oh yeah, shapes can give you clusters. Shapes can give you spaghetti. Shapes can give you quad segments. You never know what will happen. I will say it looks a bit large for a 2, but anything can happen. It is completely infested with blue land molas, though.
Well, speaking of large, as MrCab meets some large worms, Jaylow did pick up a Triforce piece, our first competitor to have a Triforce and a at least temporary lead. He's going to go back into 5, still looking for those items, and with little progress so far on the items front, this is probably the right plan.
I do question why MrCab is digging this level. It does have easy moblins, however. I've seen, I believe, 4 or 5 rooms filled to the brim with land molas, and those, especially the blue ones, can be really hard to take care of with just the wood sword and bomb.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that's going to be a little different in this sort of scenario than what we saw during the qualifier stage. With a 1v1 scenario, you have always that meta game in the back of your head, trying to imagine what your opponent is going to do. And as Jaylow finds the item, gets a red candle, we have access to 8, and he just so happens to be right near, well, vanilla 8. To put a punctuation on what I was saying, it's just kind of one of those things you think, would my opponent do this or not, A? And regardless of the answer, would me doing this give me an advantage, or would it be a waste of time?
Yeah, and it's more than just risking, okay, I've got, our silver's in 9. Do I make that gamble? Sometimes gambles might just be, do I risk taking on this 3 or 4-headed Gleeok, or do I think I'll die? Some things like that.
Yeah, I definitely see a lot of people, myself included. I'm really bad at this. A lot of times when you're in situations where you walk into a room with 8 pulls voice. And nice Triforce for Cab, gets it. He's finally going to be able to leave 2. We'll see if he does. Ties Jaylow in the Triforce department. Jaylow with the candle, making good use of it here. But yeah, just like you were saying, do you waste time, even if you're skilled and capable of clearing a room? The odds of it being that one play, how long are you going to spend taking out those pulls boys for what could end up being a key?
Well, back on Jaylow's side, we see level 7, that was under the bush in the forest, and we see a ladder block to the south, so we may have to come back later.
might be right. Let's see if he can find a bomb hole. Ooh, we may be ladder blocked in 7.
Looks like it. Mr. Cab taking his sojourn to the coast, grabbing some heart container. Probably will check out the coast item, which we haven't seen.
I was about to ask. We don't think we've seen that yet. So, I mean, obviously that can't be the ladder. What was it? I didn't see it.
It was a heart container, so all the 3 free items today were heart containers.
Well, a lot of love shown by the seed for sure, but that also gives us as viewers a lot more excitement. Where are those items gonna be? We've already seen a few heart containers in dungeons, the red candle. We're bound to find something useful here soon.
Yeah, we've seen 5 heart containers and a red candle, and that's it. We didn't actually see either item in level 2, unless it was a boomerang and Mr. Cap left it behind.
Cab now going to take his turn in level 5. Jaylow headed back towards the Deadwoods. No recorder, so he's going to have to either go back down to, I believe that was level 6, or he's going to go up to Vanilla 6, and we know that was level 2. Going to pick up some money here. Not a bad play.
Something that I actually... Whoa.
Well, it wasn't a bad play, Gavin.
So that's part of the randomization. Secrets can, the large secret in particular, randomized anywhere between 50 and 150 rupees. This time got a bit of a short end of the straw, but it's still money. It's still free rupees.
Yeah, and it definitely puts Jaylow in range of those coveted bomb upgrades. There are 2 bomb upgrades that are shuffled around, can be in any of the dungeons. And in Vanilla, there are 100 rupees for 4 bombs more for your capacity. In this case, it can be, I believe, anywhere from 75 to, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, 75 to 125, and it can be anywhere from 2 to 6.
That sounds about right to me. What I'm more interested in this money is actually buying wooden arrows. We saw them at the B shop per se for 77 rupees, so that could be important.
Oh, Bubbles, please. Meanwhile, Jaylow about to find his Armos item, and finds that it's not where he thought it was. But he is gonna like to find these bombs, and let's see. What is he gonna bomb the candle? He's looking at it. Probably noting down the bombs more than likely, just making sure that he knows that's where those bombs are. Luckily, with the flag set, we don't have to go and search Death Mountain. A lot of times when you have Cave Shuffle on, that's something that you have to keep in mind. But with this particular flag set, you probably won't see those bombs in that shop come into play too much.
Although, speaking of Death Mountain, I am curious to see when our first runner will actually head to Vanilla level 9 up on Death Mountain. With only 3 dungeons missing, it's guaranteed to be one of the early dungeons. We are still missing dungeons 1, 3, and 4, so those are pretty nice dungeons to dig for early items.
Yeah, I mean, all 3 of those dungeons would be a good play, but especially with what we know, which is a whole lot of nothing for the most part, it's looking like level 1's probably the play that these runners are hoping to find if they happen to go up there, and I imagine we'll see that play made here sooner rather than later.
Also, I should correct myself. I don't believe we actually saw what the Armos item was. We know where it is, but I don't believe either of our runners has picked it up yet.
Interesting. Both runners do know, assuming they know what it means when the shop is there, that the item will be... Ooh, lucky break for Jaylow. Those worms are stuck on an island. No volleyball, just some bombs. But yeah, we do know that item is going to be there. I don't recall seeing it myself, so you may be correct, Kevin. As we see these runners going through the respective dungeons, I just want to remind everybody at home, tons of amazing randomizer action here in the Zelda 1 Randomizer Tournament. Make sure you follow all of the Speed Gaming and the Randomania channels as well. for all of the action. We're only in round 1, best 2 of 3 for each one of these matchups. Lots of great randomizer action coming your way for the next few weeks, so make sure you don't miss it. And in the meantime, our 2 runners tonight, MrCab55 and Jaylow7, like I said before, great people, long-time runners in the game. Make sure you guys give them both a follow.
So as Jaylo starts to clear out these rooms, hopefully he'll have a bit better luck with the land molas. Maybe he'll find some of the items. I believe they might be in the top right portion, the 2 items. As MrCab picking up that Triforce piece from level 5.
Question in chat, how many people in the tournament? As of today, last time I was informed, I believe it was at a square 90 folks still left in the tournament today, although I could be lower. I don't know if anyone's been eliminated yet. I know there was a match last night, a game 2 last night. I don't know if maybe somebody in chat knows.
I checked the bracket earlier, and so I know at least 2 people have been eliminated, but perhaps more.
Yeah, with this round, of course, this is the biggest round of the bracket stage. You're going to see a lot of really good runners. Tournaments coming to an end sooner rather than later. Of course, that is the nature of the beast. And speaking of beast, Jaylo decides not to fight that beast and finds himself in a room full of traps and a square moat. That is just not fair.
I'm pretty sure that room has an item in it, actually. I recall MrCab tried to get that item, tried to get to the room north of that, died to the spike trap. So, looks like we'll need a ladder if it's important.
MrCab does pick up his white sword heart container and is going to go up to Vanilla 5. Now, near Vanilla 5 is Vanilla 9. We still have not seen that location yet. You said earlier, if I'm not mistaken, this was level 9?
Should be.
Aha! So that means we might get to see what Spectacle Rock holds sooner rather than later, assuming Cab doesn't get nailed by a Wizro. Gets out of that screen nicely. Jaylo, meanwhile, are doing a great job with that red candle, eliminating all of those Lambos. One of the great uses of the red candle. Underrated. Very underrated weapon, especially in Randomizer.
Yeah, red candle is one of my favorite early game weapons, just because it's a really good, quick ranged weapon.
Interesting. Cab does not go to Spectacle Rock. He's headed back towards Vanilla 6.
Yeah,
he might be
really
making
easy.
A candle purchase. I think that's what it is.
That's an important choice, getting that candle. Unfortunate that he couldn't find the red candle in 5.
And now he's headed back to Spectacle Rock. Okay, not a bad play at all. Yeah, unfortunately he didn't find the red candle, but with these flags, it's easy to get money. So, shouldn't be too big of a deal if he ends up finding something that he needs money for later.
And unfortunately, Jaylo showing us why you gotta be careful when you use the red candle. You can damage yourself with your own flames. Fortunately, he took a bit of a death, but we'll get back there shortly. What I'm more interested in, actually, is what is that Dig Dogger blocking? Because we haven't seen either item in 2. We saw one room that required the ladder, and another room that requires a flute, so we might have to double dip level 2 for both items.
Well, MrCab finds what's hiding behind Spectacle Rock. It's level 1! And is gonna immediately go in head first. 3 items in here. I'm willing to bet you this is where our progression's gonna be.
Well, looks like for this enemy set we got the Gibdos, we got the Dark Nuts. So far, only a few red Dark Nuts, but if we get a Blue Lagoon, so to speak, then we could be in a bit of trouble.
Ooh, nice find! Cab finds the first item, floor item. It is the silver arrows. One of the puzzle pieces required to beat the game no matter what. So that's 1 down. Now dealing with this pesky Patra. There is 1 other floor item. And then, of course, 1 staircase item here in level 1 remaining.
always nice to get a freebie, especially the silver arrows, because that means the silver arrows are the only item that can be required that could be in level 9. So getting those not in level 9 means saves a lot of hassle. Almost simultaneous Triforce pickups, but MrCab opts to explore a bit more before grabbing his. And that might actually be all MrCab is able to do. He is low on keys, so unless he can find a bomb drop...
I don't think he took out the Patcher yet. The Patcher could be hiding a key, but we'll see. There's also,
True.
Of course, the tricks like the Kananiki. Of course, I don't know if that's possible yet. I didn't happen to see if there was any shutter doors in any of those locked rooms.
Real question is, though, do you really want to take out a Patcher with a wood sword in that kind of room? And name that ink blot. Looks a bit like a thumbs up to me.
I like that. I'll go with a thumbs up. That's not a bad one. And look at the strat MrCab used there. Good strat if you can make it work. Flipping into the block for safety. And with Blue Dark Nuts dealing 2 hearts, one single hit would have taken him down. So a pretty smart play there.
Unfortunately, that's exactly the kind of room I was calling.
He
A
does
Blue
find
Dark Nut.
the second floor item, a white sword. So Cav now has 2 really good weapons. There's still one item left in here. It's going to be in a staircase. Can he find that?
Very fortunate, actually, that he decided to keep moving before killing those Blue Darkness, because with both floor items and the Triforce in tow, we know that nothing important is going to be dropped by those Dark Nuts.
And now with a few keys in his name, if the item isn't up here, he has the ability to explore. Down below, finds a dead end. He is going to clear it. Well, he was, maybe. Possibly looking for a key.
I think I'd clear it and try and get a key drop in this situation. Just because it's only a few wall masters, you can easily one-shot.
Well, he does know he does not need to clear this Patcher out. There's nothing there for him. So it's a really good chance that this item's going to be down here. And we're still missing a lot of progression. We'll wait and see what he finds.
Yeah, we gotten the Great Combat, we got the Silver Arrows, which are required, but nothing really to help us get to some of these dungeons that were blocked by. No flute, no rap.
Oh, what a rupee boss fight. And it was rewarded with a heart container. Man, that rupee boss. Woo! I love that. But it's nothing better when you're low on health and you walk into a room and it's just 10 rupees. You're just like, oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, and find that heart container, our last item in one, bringing MrCab up to a surprising amount of hearts, 9 hearts, with pretty much most items we found are heart.
Oh, very nice level 1 clear for MrCab. Takes the Triforce lead and probably the item lead at this point with the blue candle and all of the stuff he found in 1, but still doesn't have that progression. We're still missing that ladder, which we know is required to get through level 7. And then the raft and the recorder, which we know are required to reach what we now know is going to be levels 3 and 4, I believe, correct?
That would be correct, and it's really unfortunate that those are the levels, because those are nice levels to dig early, not ones you want to wait around on. Now, Jaylow's actually bringing some different strats to the table, buying the blue ring, and he actually also picked up the letter, so he'll be able to buy some potions when he gets the money.
Oh, we find our item. It is the book. So, yeah, you know what? I really like this play by Jaylow, and Jaylow burns the book. Oh, literacy, please. I really like this play by Jaylow. This is a combat heavy seed. He doesn't have the white sword yet. But most importantly, you got the money. You already know where to get more money. Why not?
Yeah, especially, you don't really need the money for anything else. We know that the silvers are free. He doesn't know yet, but if he makes his way up to one, he'll be able to get free silver arrows, and bombs being both very easy to farm on the overworld, and being 3 rupees at the shop, you don't really have anything else to spend it on.
So yeah, still very early as we cross the 30-minute mark in this race. Still very early on, and too early to really tell who's in the lead for sure. Still, I think it's going to come down to who finds that item first, as MrCab goes back into level 6, this time with a little bit better equipment. We'll see if he's able to turn anything up.
Yeah, at this point, it's really just tough luck. Where do you want to dig? 1 is fully cleared, 2 items are blocked by the ladder and the flute, probably. Can't access 3 and 4. We have 1 item in 5, and the Triforce. We found a heart container on the floor in 6, and also 6 is large. We can't do anything in 7, and 8 is also huge, and we got a floor item there, so... Either way, there's reasons to not dig every single dungeon.
Ooh, bad luck for MrCab. Uses his last key to unlock a door just to find nothing there. And he's going to nope out of 6. We'll see if he decides to go buy a key or if he's going to play another play here. Meanwhile, Jaylow diving back into level 8.
Now, on Jaylow's side, I do say that this is probably a bit of a mistake. Now, we do know that there is the potential for the item being in level 8, but at this point, he hasn't been to level 1 first, and I'd say that should be his top priority. Getting to an early dungeon, and we know in hindsight that it does have the white sword and some other really good items. So.
Well, from his point of view, he doesn't know it's level 1, but he does know it's got to be 1, 3, or 4. And, yeah, I mean, obviously, we don't know what items are in 8. I think we found 1 heart container earlier, and that was it. And there's our second item. So we're getting closer and closer. It definitely is starting to look to me like this is a right order kind of seed. The first person to find that item is going to be the person with the biggest advantage.
MrCab getting creative with those land molas, but no dice and no bomb hole.
But yeah, I mean, definitely not the wrong play at all for Jaylow to come into 8, but not knowing what's in 1, it does mean it's a little riskier. Depending on how this goes, this could end up backfiring a little bit because he does not have that white sword that would really help him in the rooms like this.
He does find a nice bomb hole, though, so hopefully he'll be able to find that 3rd item. And if the 3rd item is not anything useful, then we really gotta question where we can even possibly explore. At that point, I think progression is down to 3 items. The 2nd item in 5, the 2nd item in 6, and the 3rd item.
And for our viewers at home, just bear with us. We're just getting these runners synced back up for you, so for better entertainment as we go forward. Jaylow finds a nice room full of Dodongos. And what's cool about that, like we said earlier, level 8, especially in shapes, is a bomb-hungry level. And, ooh, but a tough break here. He's going to have to up A unless he can hit them with something long distance. I don't think he has anything that's going to get them. Yeah, he's going to have to up A here. What a bad break.
Yeah, he could kill the 2 on the central island. And he does have the boomerang. So if the Stalfos rolled a -2, he could kill it. But that's not the case today.
Yeah, they definitely didn't minus anything. These are some sturdy skeletons we're dealing with. Jaylow gonna have to make his way back through. But, again, with those Dodongos near where he up-A'd, if he does get low on bombs, he knows where he can get some, as long as he doesn't use them all up.
I should point out that on MrCab's side, he hasn't found the red candle in 5, so that makes 5 a bit more desirable to dig. I am wondering where MrCab is going. Looks like to heal, perhaps?
Perhaps he might be looking at going back to 8. I know he was in 8 earlier, and knowing that that combat is strong, and he does not have blue ring like Jaylow does, definitely a more enticing play. Jaylow's going to take on this annoying Patra we saw Cab take out earlier. With that blue ring, a lot less fear, but still, Patra's not something to be trifled with. Definitely can take you out quickly. Jaylow doing an okay job, but getting a little frisky here. Oh, down to half a heart. Oh!
The important thing to remember when you have the blue ring is it does increase your defense, but not nearly as much as the red ring. So, although you can be a bit riskier, you should still be pretty careful.
Oh, runners in the same room at the same time. A little virtual high five.
Jaylow's got the defense, MrCab's got the offense. Neither of them have the progression.
Yeah, as a runner, I think, especially this late into the seed, knowing the blocks, whatever you end up finding is the play, I think. You've got to take that. Whatever you find here, if you find the ladder, you beeline to 7. If you find the recorder, you're going to vanilla 7. And if you find that raft, you're going to vanilla 4. I think that's got to be what they're thinking as soon as they find that, whatever it is.
Unless it's nothing entirely, in which case our runners are going to be in trouble.
If that's the case, send Game Genie! No. Hopefully they can figure it out. There is a few items that we haven't seen yet. I don't think we've seen both of the items in... Did we see both the items in 2? I know we saw one of them. Were they both heart containers?
Did we see a heart container in 2? I was under the impression that we saw none of the items in 2.
It's very possible, indeed.
Yeah, I believe that both items in 2 were, one was blocked by the ladder and the other one was blocked by Dig Dogger. So, 2, as far as I know, is a dead end, so the progression, again, we're missing an item in 5, we're missing an item in 6, and we're missing an item in 8. It's gotta be one of them.
Jaylow gonna utilize the letter he came across earlier, pick up some Coca-Cola. Always a favorite drink, especially with combat-heavy seeds such as this one, with annoying Patras left and right. And he'll have a little insurance in his pocket as he takes an up A. He's going to try a different approach here. Getting some of those early candy bombs like you were talking about earlier. Very nice.
Looks like Jaylow wasn't able to dig the 3rd item out of 8. Looks like he's going to try his luck at level 6 now, which we saw MrCab in earlier, but he didn't find the other.
Very lucky break for Cab. Not only does he get an insurance heart, which doesn't do him too much good here, but he gets some candy bombs. It's going to allow him to explore a little further. He was out of bombs. And if he's able to find that Dodongo room not far from here, he can refill to full. As long as he doesn't make the mistake that Jaylow did and walk into that screen with those Stalfos.
Actually, correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like Jaylow's heading back to 2, actually.
It does appear that way, taking the Lost Woods route.
Actually,
Left,
I just
left.
realized. I think he might actually be heading to 1. I haven't seen Jaylow do a single screen scroll yet, so he might not know the trick, which would mean this is the only way to get up.
Very possible. There is a thing built into logic. The screen scrolls are never required to be deceived of the Legend of Zelda. Same as block clips. That's all part of the logic. And as a veteran runner, Jaylow does know this. So going around the long way could be the play here, and it will get him some upgrades. We know it won't get him that progression he's seeking, but at least he will get those important items.
And he shouldn't have any problem getting blocked, as he actually has 7 keys, which, compared to MrCab's 1, does give him a bit of an edge.
Ooh, Cab finds the compass. We did not see the Triforce out of 8. which means he's in a new area. One item still in here somewhere. Let's see if he's able to dig it up. We're looking for that progression, folks. Where is it going to be? What is it going to be?
Could be in the Triforce room. But it's not.
And MrCab says, thank you for those Dodongo bits. Gives the Triforce. And let's see, is he going to bail on level 8? Or is he going to go back in for that item? He, of course, has already cleared level 1. So he's getting very close to the point where he's not going to have any option.
That's a very unfortunate Y Force. It looked like he wanted to just kill the Dodongo and then go to the right, look for the item, but he ended up getting Y Forced. Always got to be careful when you know you're in the Triforce room, because yeah, you get the Triforce, you get booted right out. He didn't even get the chance to pick up the bombs from the Dodongo.
Interesting, though, because he had the compass. He must have known that was the Triforce. It's possible he forgot.
My theory is he just, because it was a Dodongo, he wanted to make sure it was dead, so that he didn't accidentally waste all his bombs on the next few rooms and then not be able to get the Triforce.
Well, he does decline to go back in, so he looks like he's headed back to level 2. Meanwhile, Jaylow in 1, he's going to love what he finds here from a survivability standpoint, but alas, will not give him that progression that'll put him in the lead. And of course, the lead is very much, it's not really anything substantial at this point. Until they find that progression item, it doesn't really matter who has more Triforces per se. So whoever finds that item first.
Yeah, because like each runner does have their own advantages. MrCab is a bit more of 8 explored, a few more Triforces, but Jaylow has one of the items in 5, being the red candle. Does have the blue ring, so got survivability. More keys, so they both definitely have advantages.
And he has a nice soft drink in his pocket as well.
True, true.
Ooh, he does use his last bomb on accident there. I think he thought his boomerang was out. Instead, uses his last bomb. That, I don't know how important that was to clear this out, but unless he gets a bomb drop, that could be pretty bad news.
I do remember that the staircase heart container was actually blocked by a bomb.
Yeah, it was at the bottom of the map. I think you're right. Cab finally finding some keys. He's been low on keys this entire seed. Finally starting to get some keys to his credit. Meanwhile, Jaylow finally finds his silver arrows. One of the 3 items here. Still looking for that white sword. He's going to love that.
Will he take the time and clear the Patra, though? And he decides no.
Barely squeaks by with half a heart remaining. That blue ring really paying dividends here, allowing for situations that other people might be dead now. And it's definitely in a seed like this, not the worst play. A lot of veteran runners kind of spit on that blue ring. I've had seeds where I've picked it up before, and I'm no shame in it.
MrCab redigging too. He saw that dig dogger, and looking at that map, he's been to every room in the dungeon. So I think at this point it's guaranteed, confirmed that dig dogger has an item.
So if that's the case, we can conclude a few things from it. We know that whatever the progression item is to continue is not going to be blocked by that dig dogger. We also know that that's not the item that's going to lead to any progression yet. There's going to be an item somewhere that's going to open the seed up. Maybe it's the raft, which leads to another item. Could be the recorder. Could be the bow that we find a Goma block, perhaps.
And that room that MrCab's currently in, I think that's the second item. And unfortunately, you can't even kill the enemies to see what the item is because of those spike traps.
And he does indeed up A, and he's out. So we now confirm that both the items in 2, or at least the remaining items in 2, are not accessible at this point. So we know there's an item somewhere in 8. I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure we saw both the items in 6, or did we?
I think we only saw the heart container in 6, still.
And that's where MrCab is headed. So that's correct. He ran out of keys and had to bail. So,
Now, something I'm wondering is, we've seen both our runners double dip 6 and double dip 8 already, but neither one of them have double dip 5 yet, which is actually the smallest of the dungeons. And especially in Mr. Cab's case, he hasn't the red candle there, so there are 2 items in 5 that are at large.
Jaylow finds his white sword and a bomb drop. Really, really big find, as pointed out in chat. Not gonna bother looking for that third item, which we know is useless to him. Let's see if he decides to go back in and look for it, or if he bails. If he's gonna do a little gamble here, it'll turn out to be the correct play. Let's see what he decides. And he's headed back in.
At this point, this late in, 45 minutes in, and you have essentially nothing. You've got a few Triforces, but no progression outside of the... Oh!
Well,
Speaking of
go.
progression, the flute lying on the floor in 6, giving MrCab the immediate lead. That opens up, hopefully, the rest of the seed for him.
That opens up not only Vanilla 7, which is one of the 2 remaining dungeons we've yet to see, but it also opens up the item in 2. So, let me ask you, Kevin, as a randomizer player, what do you do in this situation? Obviously, that level 7 has got to be enticing, but in the back of your mind, are you thinking at all of making the absurd play of going back to 2?
Well, my first thought would be just head to Vanilla 7. 2's on the way to 7, so I can just, since 6 is right between, right there too, I can just go from 6, go to 7, full clear. I need both items and the Triforce there anyway, so might as well check. And then if I still don't have any more progression, get the second item in 2. But what you really want to do is try, maybe you'll get lucky and get the ladder in whatever's at 7, so then you can get both items at once in level 2.
Alright, so Jaylow finds the third item. He is full cleared level 1, and Cab picks up his 5th Triforce piece, now with a 5-3 Triforce piece advantage, and that item that opens up the seed potentially. And it does appear as if he's going to go to Vanilla 7. Now I am intrigued by what is hidden by that Dig Dogger. And with the recorder, it's only a quick toot away, and you know exactly where it is. In the it would be so tempting. I would be so tempted.
Yeah, it can definitely be tempting to just go to where you left an item, but it's important to just remember to route efficiently. Especially if you've got a place that can have anything, go to where you don't have the Triforce.
Jaylow is in the area of the magic sword, and he's headed back that way. He only has the minimum amount that could be required. I believe that's a 11% chance. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. But it's a very low chance. Let's see if he decides to play the odds.
That would be a 20% chance.
Yeah, you're correct. I apologize. Yes, you are correct.
Well, we see level 4 underneath the lake, which means level 3 is blocked by the raft. So let's see what we can find in here. You see piles of pancakes. Jaylow taking a good long look at that map. Maybe he's comparing it with some notes he has, trying to just double check why he doesn't have either item there.
As MrCab digs into level 4, our first look at level 4, still tons of items missing out there, both required and not. Just a reminder to you folks at home that this is game 1 of the best of 3 of this set between these 2 contestants. Game number 2 will be immediately following this match right here on Speed Gaming 4. It'll be myself on commentary, joined by LOZ Cards Fan 23. That'll be coming up immediately at the conclusion of this, what's turning out to be an epic race.
Yeah, a bit of a marathon race. So our runners better hope that our next match is pretty easy. But meanwhile, name that ink plot. This time, level 4 edition.
Looks like a microscope, or
I think a microscope is a pretty good play. It's an interesting shape, I'll give it that, but I think what interests me more is what goes in the cracks of that shape. Because that shape is definitely going outside of some other shape, so I'm curious to see what dungeon fits inside of it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, of course, for those of you at home that don't know what we were referring to, all of the maps kind of share a larger canvas. And it's one of the things you can kind of metagame on what the other dungeons are going to look like.
Basically, imagine each of the dungeons as their own jigsaw piece, and all the jigsaw pieces fit together to form a square.
Jaylow is pot committed now to finish level 2. He's going back in. And we do know at this point that the items are blocked. So, unfortunately, going to set him back a little bit more. MrCab, meanwhile, headstrong into this level 4, looking for those items. Is he going to find that ladder? Is he going to find that raft? And the bow is still out there as well.
Well, speaking of things that are locked, not anymore for MrCab, the any key on the floor in level 4.
Very nice find, especially for MrCab. Almost the entire seed has just had the bad luck of not finding the keys that Jaylow has. And finally gets those key troubles out of the way, picks up his level 4 Triforce. I imagine he's got to go back in unless he's going to make that level 2 play.
I also imagine he's got to go back in. We've seen a transport staircase, and it being level 4, we know that's got to leave to that one-off bit. Having both the floor item and the Triforce, we know that we don't have to take it. We've got to find that staircase item. Also, something to point out, we do have a recorder randomizer on, and I can confirm that it is the Lost Woods theme, the Forest Maze theme from Super Mario RPG.
Major shouts out to Fred and all of the people behind the scenes that have set this randomizer up, and a lot of cool options being added with every update. So much more, even than what you guys are seeing in this tournament. If you've never given the randomizer a try, make sure you give it a try. There's so many amazing customizable options for both beginners and veterans alike. If you are a fan of The Legend of Zelda, it's a free program. Give it a try. It's a ton of fun.
You know, actually, looking at it now closely, this 4 on MrCab's side looks kind of like Vanilla 8 a bit. You know, you've got that 4 on the bottom, that spine coming off the third one.
Okay.
If you squint hard enough.
Yeah, I like that. Could this be it? It might be it. It is
The bow!
Dubbo. Not gonna give progression though. It is a required item. It is a good item. He wanted that, and I think he knows. Wait. Oh, okay, I forgot. I think he forgot. He can't whistle on that screen. He's going back to 2.
Yeah, he's got to. With any luck, it'll be the ladder, and then you can get the next item there, and it'll be...
that Bull's voice! Oh, bunnies, why?
Never mind. Fortunately, it's just a quick flute away. And if he wants to take revenge, he does have that bow now, and the silvers.
Almost got him again. This time he sneaks in. And he's going to beeline straight for that Dig Dogger. Now the question is that indeed our item? And if so, what is it going to be? I hope it's the ladder. I hope it's the ladder and the raft is deep in 7. At this point, we might as well go for the full shebang, right?
Honestly, I think what would be worse is if it's not the ladder, because then we have to dig the rest of 8 or the rest of 5 for our progression again. We're back to square 1. Oh, but he's seen what this item has.
Ooh, smart play. It's the power bracelet, which is not required, but it is considered an important item. And what that means is that eliminates a potential item later on that we know cannot be in level 9. So narrows down the progression a little further. At this point, that item under Dig Dogger, it's gotta be. It's gotta be. Ooh, Jaylow, be careful. Sneaks by those Moldorms again. Nice job.
Now, if I were you, suppose the ladder is under the Dig Dogger, would you go back for that power bracelet?
Nah, not with the recorder. Honestly, I think if you're a little worried about overworld movement, it's not the worst play, especially if you don't have the recorder.
Especially with 9
case,
being in the Lost Hills.
Yeah, I mean, and it would be a nice way to get back to 9 quickly, but 9's not really that tough to get to. I mean, you're looking at a few seconds of time loss. I don't think I would bother.
Levels 5 and 7 are close enough. But moment of truth, what's going to be on that floor?
It's
a heart container!
Well, rip me.
We're back to square one. Looks like we gotta dig 5 or 8 again. And in MrCab's mind, I can't imagine he'd go to 8 before checking 5. He still doesn't have that red candle.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he might do level 5 as the next play, which would make sense. It would be more than likely the play I'd make myself. Now, if it was indeed a white force, and it's unfortunate, but if he did that on purpose, that's going to be a huge if he has to go back to level 8 and get all the way back to where he was.
And speaking of 5, let's give Jaylow some love. He's been in 5 for a bit. Finding a ladder block doesn't really have the means to kill those gels. So, what if that room has the raft? Because we know that the red candle was the staircase item, so we're missing the floor item in here.
Well, if it is the raft, then that means by process of elimination that the ladder would have to be an 8, correct?
It would.
I mean, at this point, it's got to be one of those 2 items. The item in 5 that's on the floor if we did indeed not see it, or the item in 8. Ooh, Cab gets tagged by that Moldorm. Nicely done.
Gotta be careful. Now that item, due to the way the randomizer works, was actually guaranteed to not drop anything, so... But I suppose just clearing it out for easy going back and forth doesn't...
Now, we did see Jaylow leave 5. I don't know if he found the floor item, and maybe he left because he wanted to refill his health, or he just decided to make a different play. I don't think we saw it. Cab's going to find the same block that he did earlier. He has the bow, so we can clear this room to see if he decides to check it.
I'd definitely clear that room at this point. But I'm not Mr. Cab, so we'll see what he decides to do. Meanwhile, Jaylow, he's in the right spot now. He's gone to 6. He'll be able to find that flute and at least get something. Although at this point the flute's nice. It does allow for a lot more clearing, but he doesn't really need the magic key nearly as much as MrCab.
Very true, but I'll tell you right now, unless I'm already looking for Zelda with Ganon down, if I find that magic key, I'm always grateful to see it.
Yeah, there was a race I did earlier in the tournament, which I actually skipped the magic key on, and I think I had 9 keys at that point, and even then I regretted it. So never skip the magic key.
Well, Cab does find his red candle, decides to pick it up. Never a bad thing. Not as useful 58 minutes compared to maybe 8 minutes, but still a nice item to have in your pocket, especially with this many Lambos.
Yeah, and something I find that's unique to the red candle is it lets you damage multiple enemies in 2 different spots at the same time because of the fire lingering. So, say you're getting cornered by Gibdos on both sides of you, shoot fire to one side to buy time to slash the left, stuff like that.
MrCab using this strategy again, a very underrated safety when you're at low health like he is. Decides to switch to silvers. Now, diamond staircases can drop items in certain circumstances, alas, not this time.
We do have the map in 6, though, which we haven't found before. Name that ink blot.
New York State.
I think I'm gonna have to agree with the chat on this one. It looks more like do-do-do-do-do to me.
Almost sounded like I said New York steak there. Maybe I'm just hungry.
So Jaylow still hasn't found that flute yet. We know it was in a room, I believe it was just a little south of here, filled with pancakes. Actually, it was this room right here.
Chad does make an interesting point. He came in this dungeon with a lot of keys. He's down to 3.
True. So he will put that magic key to good use.
Meanwhile, MrCab just finds all of the bombs. Literally all of the bombs.
And speaking of bombs, Jaylow gets more bombs. This has been an exceptionally explosives healthy seed. Jaylow closing in on that Triforce. And he's going to have 4 to MrCab55, but it's still anyone's game.
Unfortunately, with no ladder, you can't get through that T room. That room doesn't carry it. Don't pity the fool. Sorry, that was terrible. I have to apologize for that one.
Oh, a map blocked by the ladder. And actually, I think that was the other end of that that room that we saw many times from the left. Yeah, that map check confirms it. Looks like we found a transport staircase, but we're ladder blocked even more. So looks like the second item is find the magic bomb hole, which we just...
And there it is. It's not what we were looking for. It is the wand.
I think that means the ladder absolutely... well, it could be the raft, but it has to be an 8. Unless we've severely missed some sort of bomb hole in...
Of course, our tracker behind the scenes, tournament admin, Crimson Avix, hard at work, keeping us informed, allowing us to kind of do our thing without having to stress too much about it, doing a great job. And major shouts out to him for all his hard work that he's done in putting this thing together. Yeah, I think at this point, man, it's got to be up by where he got the Triforce, which is going to be so painful. Not so much in the context of this race, because he does have a pretty big lead, but he doesn't know this. So if he finds that item, like, say, 1 or 2 rooms away from that Triforce, I wonder what that's going to do as far as, you know, when you're an hour plus into a seed, that starts creeping into your head. Oh, I haven't seen that dot done yet. I don't know where my opponent is. That's got to be a sinking feeling if he finds it up there.
Yeah, a big part of just playing well is keeping a good mindset, because the more you stress out, the more you're just going to be not focusing on the game, the more you might have a finger slip here or there. It can really affect your gameplay.
I mean, me personally, I don't even keep the IRC open anymore. I completely hide it, and I don't even check it till I dot done. I just use the live split IRC, so it actually dot dones for you when you split. So
oh, does it really?
Yeah, so if you set up your splits so that your final split is your dot done, it'll dot done for you. It's about a second lag. So it is kind of unfortunate in that sense, because you'll lose a second off of what your time would be if you actually manually hit dot done. But I do think the psychological effects of not seeing the IRC personally helps me out a ton. Like, I don't think about it. I don't know where my opponent is. I don't want to know. I just go.
Looks like MrCab is making his way back up to where he got Y-forced earlier. He's got an idea, and he's headed for it. As Jaylow hasn't found the magic key yet. but he'll find it.
But we are going to see that wand put to good use, of course, with the wand and white sword. Using them simultaneously, Cab can do basically magic sword damage if he's framed perfect. So that is a really nice little benefit. Plus that wand hitbox, so broken. Really a nice offensive upgrade for Mr. Cab.
Does look like, however, that we were wrong. That second staircase item was not right of the Triforce, which means you might have Mr. Cab playing Hyrule's favorite game, find that bomb hole, or take the key door to the left.
Find that keyhole. Hey, sometimes it happens. I mean, when he was in here earlier, he didn't have that magic key.
Oh, and there's a staircase.
And this has got to be it, right? There it is!
It's the raft, and that's actually the better of the two options, because 3, smaller than 7. We know the ladder's gotta be in 3, so shouldn't be too long now for Mr. Cab to find it and get all the Triforce.
Now, unfortunate setback for Jaylow on not getting that recorder early enough, not finding the item in 8, and now at this point, an hour and 5 minutes plus into the seed, although he's not technically in Triforce and Go mode yet, Cab is basically in Go mode, as long as he can find this ladder. Jaylow does find a nice thing here in 4, though.
Finds that bow. Lets him put those silver arrows to great use. He doesn't have quite as much money as Mr. Cab, but 65 is still quite a lot. Can get you through a.
And of course, why not? Let's have a segmented 3. I mean, at this point, this seed is one of those seeds that when you get done, you're just cursing under your breath, you're frustrated, and as a viewer, you love it. Like, look at that. Look what Cab just...
Why have 2 segments when you can have 3?
I love it. As a viewer, I love it. As a racer, this drives me crazy. But from the seat we're in, I feel for these guys. This is brutal.
Does look like we found the dungeon that fits into level 4 at least.
We did.
Makes me worried for what level 9 will have in store. Level 9, colloquially known as the Great Equalizer, and sometimes it feels that way. Really does. Can be I've seen it as fast as less than a minute to sometimes it's taken me 20 minutes. Gotta love it when you have a triple segment 9.
Jaylow really using those silver arrows nicely as soon as he finds the bow, using them to dispatch these blue Lionels. Trying his best to play a little catch up here. Depending on how fast Cab gets through 3, I mean, once you find those items, it really just turns the jets on. And you're able to just go. Of course, Cab finds another segment. I mean, this level 3 is just not really conducive to what he's trying to do.
We did see that a room have to be skipped because it was ladder blocked. Might have to get the ladder, then go back a bit.
Ooh, barely avoids it.
Y-Force won, Mr. Cab also won in this case.
Of course, one of those items can be on the floor here. Red ring would be nice. We haven't seen that yet. Of course, the odds are that it's probably going to be deep in level 9 somewhere, or it could be in level 7.
And looked like that was a heart container, I believe. Or no. Oh no, that was just a key, my bad. By my count, we've actually only found 6 heart containers, which means that would leave 3 still in the item pool.
Still no sign of the red ring, the magical boomerang.
Or the ladder.
Still some stuff out there. Or, of course, the all-important ladder. Only a few rooms left here for Cab. We know there's 2 items in those 6 rooms. Oh, hello, Patra. How are you doing today?
Our runners got off pretty easy not having to kill any other patchers, but this time he's here for good. Fortunately, that white sword and wand, if you use both at the same time, it can effectively doubles the damage. It stacks them.
There's a very good chance people in chat are commenting that it could be the Bloomerang. There's a good chance. Just because we know the ladder has to be here. There's the red ring, which means that if the ladder's not in a staircase, Kevin, I'm lost. I don't know where it is, but a nice find for Kev nonetheless.
As far as I'm concerned, it's gotta be in 3. We've seen every single item, except the second item in 3 and both items in 7.
Well, Cav's been doing it, taking his notes. He knows that it's going to be a staircase. He already knows what the Triforce is.
And looks like we're gonna have pretty much a full clear 3.
What a disgusting level 3. Moment of truth. We have Go Mode. At this point, it's just a matter of getting those Triforces and getting into level 9. Now, of course, from our perspective, Kevin, we know that Cab has a commanding lead. I mean, that much is obvious at this point. But Jaylow is a great runner, and Cab knows this. You think he's sweating it all an hour and 11 minutes into this seed?
I think that no matter what your skill level is, when you're over an hour, you start to sweat, regardless of how trolly the seed is. Because, I mean, we've had a lot of trolly seeds in the qualifiers, and we've had a lot of good seeds in the qualifiers, but, I mean, most seeds were done sub-hour. And the few that weren't, usually were finished by now anyway, so anyone's gotta be sweaty.
And, of course, with that, 7 Triforces down, Cab is just 1 away from heading to 9. But Jaylow's not as far back as it appears. He just needs to find the ladder. So he's going to find his raft here in 8. Once he gets the raft, he just needs the ladder, and then he'll be in go mode. And although there is a 2 Triforce difference here, after he picks up the 1 in 8, of course, it's so quick when you're in go mode to close. And if level 9 ends up being level 9, and we've seen it over and over, time and time again, this race, believe it or not, is not over.
And in fact, we haven't really seen the shape of level 7, so level 7 could be interesting too. And actually, I'm surprised that Jaylow doesn't have the Triforce from 6, because I looked away, but last I saw, he was like, I believe 1 or so rooms away from the Triforce in level 6.
Well, that's an interesting shape.
Oh my.
That's all I can say is, oh my. I don't even know. It looks like I don't know. I'm speechless. I don't even know what that is. That's not even a cactus.
Let's stretch this a little, but imagine the lower part as like some sort of like hook or bracket to mount a shelf on a wall, and then the upper part is the shelf.
You know what it looks like to me? Was it The Nightmare Before Christmas that had that flying dog skull?
I wouldn't know.
I think it was A Nightmare Before Christmas. There was like a flying dog that was just a skull. That's what it kind of looks like a dog's head, or like a deer antler mounted on a wall.
Oh no!
No! Don't do it, game! Don't!
The odds are still unlikely. We could have access from the north and from the west, and there's still a very large portion of 7, but even still, seeing something like that, you can't ignore the possibility of it possibly being blocking the Triforce. It's gotta be in the back of your mind.
We already saw the heart container as one of the items as Jaylow picks up his Triforce in 8. I did miss. I don't think I saw. Did he get the raft? I assume he did. And if he did, then he's in good shape. But I did not see if he grabbed it. I was too busy looking at the bait block. So hopefully he did.
Unfortunately, I also missed it. But we have seen 3 staircases on MrCab's side. Make that 4 staircases.
Oh, he's gonna go kill the Dig Dogger, which is a good play. This is the play I would have made. And unfortunately, it's not the one he's gonna want to see. But at least he'll have that knowledge. He's only he's only 1 Triforce away. Assuming he got that raft, this is a much closer race than I thought it was gonna be. Jaylow's still very much in this.
Yeah, and it's, it could really go anyway. And especially with a 7 like this, it really depends on where you go. And
our tracker Krim informing us in chat, he believes that he did not pick up the raft, and if that is the case, then that is a huge blow to Jaylow's chances to get back in this race, even with this bait block. And it appears that that is the case.
Well, we did see the second item. It was the magic boomerang, so by process of elimination, that means both items in level 9 should be heart containers.
Jaylow does pick up his heart container but that is a huge blow. That is really bad news for the remainder of this race, and Cab picks up his 8th Triforce. He's headed to level 9, folks, the great equalizer, but will it be enough for Jaylow to get back in, or will MrCab hold on and take game 1 of this 3-game set?
Level 9 has a tendency to be Swiss cheese, so usually you think of level 9, you think just bomb every wall. If you want to go in that direction, it'll usually open up if there's not a key door or a shutter. But with those blank screens being able to be anywhere, it can really cause you some routing issues in it.
Just another friendly reminder to you folks at home. Coming up immediately after this race, well, maybe not immediately. I'm sure they're going to want 5 minutes to stretch. But after the conclusion of this race, Game 2 right here on Speed Gaming 4. So don't go anywhere. We're going to see the possible 2 and out or the evening of this series. Regardless of what happens here, it should be exciting.
Oh my, what is this 9? Immediately, our only option is to the right, and then our only option is bomb north. And then potential Zelda right away? This is an odd 9, if I have to say the least.
Well, it's not Zelda. We are looking, for those of you newer to the randomizer, for a single shutter door that does not open once the room is devoid of enemies, and or once Ganon is dead, and a door that opens when the enemies are still alive. We're also looking for a room that holds Ganon, and adjacent to that room you will be able to hear the roar of Ganon. So if you hear an enemy roaring, despite not being a boss in the room, we know Ganon is 1 room away. So keep your ears peeled and your eyes open. That doesn't make any sense at all, but you know what I mean. And hopefully we'll be able to see those 2 things here shortly.
Well, we hear the roar of Ganon.
We see the room getting dark.
And we have some shutter doors, so it could be possible for Zelda to be off of this dungeon. It was an exceptionally linear 9 to this point, but Ganon really wasn't much for hide and seek today.
Gonna take 8 hits with the white sword. That's 2. 3. Backed into a corner. There's the 4th hit.
I don't know if MrCab has a potion or not.
Gets the stun lock. There's 7 and there's 8. Down goes Ganon. We have bacon. And now it's just a hide and seek game.
Where is Zelda? So as you mentioned, we're looking for that shutter door that opens even if there are still enemies in the room. But it doesn't look like either of these rooms are where she's hiding. Dungeon's branching out quite a bit more now. Less of find the bomb hole and more of a find the magic staircase. Looks like. Meanwhile, Jaylow, he's back in level 8 looking for that raft. Unfortunately, I think it's a bit too little too late, but he's gonna give it that fighting chance.
What Jaylow would need in this case would be to get this raft, get out, clear 3 and 7 very quickly, and then hope somewhere in this dungeon is a bomb hole, and Cab has issues with bombs, or some sort of magic staircase scenario where it's going to take a monumental break. It's not impossible, I've seen it. But Cab, with the commanding lead now, just one room away, every time you see a shutter door, your heart skips a beat. Is that it?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of stairs in this dungeon, so, could be a magic staircase. Stairs all leading to each other. That was an exceptionally fast Patrick kill.
Oh, hello. You can have some of my infinite keys, old man. Thank you very much.
Find some bomb holes. Still more stairs among stairs.
Down to 6 bombs. 6 bombs is a lot, but you definitely don't want to get...
Oh, but there's Zelda! And it's not a shoot room. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. Cab finishing with an official SRL race time of 1 hour, 20 minutes, and 37 seconds. GG to Mr. Cab for taking game 1. And shortly after, we actually did get a dot forfeit from Jaylow.
Yeah, what a well-played seed for both these runners for what it was. A right order kind of seed with a ton of blocks, a lot of key issues early, a lot of tough combat, and it came down to finding that one item that unlocked the seed. And it took both of them a while to find it, but unfortunately for Jaylow, he was just a little too late. But props to him for putting a great race here in race 1. So as they prepare themselves for race number 2 coming up very shortly right here on Speed Gaming 4. Just a reminder, that race coming up shortly. I just wanted to shout out my co-commentator tonight. Make sure you all give him a follow. He is also a contestant in this race, and will be taking on the winner of this best of 3 set. Kevin, it was a pleasure to call this race with you, sir.
Thanks for having me, JSR, and feel free to follow him too.